So, you want to start calisthenics. You see people online doing insane things with their bodies, and it looks almost superhuman. Every single one of them started from zero, with nothing but their body weight and the right knowledge. Whether you've never trained a day in your life or you're coming from the gym, this video is going to give you the full roadmap to start calisthenics the right way and start seeing real results within your first few months. Part 1. What calisthenics actually is. Calisthenics is a completely different game compared to most training styles around, and nothing makes that clearer than putting it side by side with bodybuilding. Bodybuilding and calisthenics start from different goals. In bodybuilding, everything revolves around muscle mass. More muscle, more volume, more aesthetics. In calisthenics, the main goal is to develop functional strength and mobility that allow you to perform increasingly complex movements with your body. But that doesn't mean calisthenics athletes stay lean and skinny. Put a serious calisthenics athlete next to a bodybuilder, and most people wouldn't even notice the difference. Part 2. What you actually need. One of the greatest things about calisthenics is that if you don't want to go to the gym, you can easily start training at home. And you don't need to buy a single thing to get started. Push-ups and abs require no equipment at all. For your back, you can use a broomstick resting on two surfaces and do Australian rows. For dips, two sturdy chairs are enough. It's not the most elegant solution, but it works. Here's a list of the main exercises you can do with no equipment, organized by muscle group. Once you start making progress and want something more solid, parallel bars are the first thing worth buying. There are different types, but tall ones allow you to perform a wide range of exercises. If you have a beam or a surface to attach them to, gymnastic rings are an even more versatile option and take your training to a higher level. One often underrated piece of equipment is resistance bands. They're super useful for scaling down tough exercises and for mobility work. A pull-up bar can also be useful, but be careful where you mount it. Part 3. Master the basic exercises. In calisthenics, to be able to perform advanced exercises, you first need to master and own a certain number of reps of the basic ones. Take the muscle up. Probably the most iconic move in calisthenics. But what most people don't realize is that behind that one movement, there's a whole foundation of basic strength. You need to be able to do at least 8 to 10 clean and controlled pull-ups. You need chin-ups, because those build the bicep strength that gets you through the transition. And you need a solid set of dips to lock out that final push at the top. Broadly speaking, exercises can be divided into 3 categories. Push exercises. Movements where you push weight away from your body or push your body away from a surface. These exercises primarily work the chest, shoulders, and triceps. Examples include push-ups and dips. Pull exercises, movements where you pull your body toward a surface, primarily working the back, biceps, and hamstrings. This group includes pull-ups, chin-ups, and Australian rows. And isometric exercises, where you hold a static position without moving. In this case, the muscle produces force without changing length. Isometric exercises include the plank, hollow body hold, and L-sit. Calisthenics has hundreds of exercises, and figuring out the right progressions for each one can get overwhelming pretty fast. But if you search bodyweight fitness progression chart and click the first link, you'll find a Google sheet that someone shared on Reddit that lays out exercise progressions organized by difficulty level and shows you exactly where to go next. Part 4. The 4 pillars of calisthenics. To get good at calisthenics, there are 4 areas you need to train. The first area is strength. The goal is to make every exercise progressively harder over time. You can do this in 4 ways: increasing sets, throw on some external weight, reducing rest time, or performing a harder exercise variation. If in the first week you do 5 sets of 4 dip reps, the goal is to increase the number of sets week by week, or keep the same 5 sets and gradually add weight on your back. Without this principle of progressive overload, the body adapts to the current stimulus and stops progressing. Mobility. Mobility is how freely your joints can move through their full range of motion. The more mobile a joint is, the more positions you can reach and control. Take the back lever. That movement puts a ton of stress on the shoulder capsule. If your shoulder doesn't have the range to handle it, you're not just going to struggle with the move, you're going to get hurt. The areas that need the most attention are your shoulders, wrists, hips and back. So, before every session, run through some dynamic mobility work, shoulder rotations, wrist circles, leg swings, controlled movements that warm up your joints and prepare the body for training. Flexibility. While mobility is about your joints, flexibility is about your muscles, specifically how much they can stretch. A straight handstand, for example, requires shoulders and a posterior chain that are flexible enough to support that position. Or to transition from an L-sit, you need hip flexors that don't block the movement halfway. The best way to build it is 15 minutes of static stretching after your workout, holding each position for around 30 seconds. Post-training is the sweet spot because your muscles are warm and way more responsive to lengthening. Skills. Skills are advanced movements that combine strength, coordination, and body control all at once. And while they're not essential, they're a great way to impress the person you like. They're not learned like a regular strength exercise. They require a gradual learning path that goes through simpler versions of the same movement. Once you've picked the skill you want to learn, just search for it on YouTube, followed by the word tutorial, and you'll find tons of videos breaking it down step by step. I recommend training skills before your main workout because afterward, you'll be tired and the risk of injury increases. Part 5. Training Program. First thing, figure out how many days a week you're going to train. If you're just starting out, 3 to 4 days a week is the sweet spot, with 2 to 3 rest days in between to let your body recover. As you get stronger, you can start adding more days. After that, you need to decide what type of structure to use for your training. The two most common ways to structure a workout are push-pull legs and upper-lower, and each has its own benefits. If you choose the first structure, you might train push on Monday and Thursday, pull on Tuesday and Friday, and legs on Saturday. If you choose an upper-lower structure, you can organize it like this instead. Once you've chosen the structure, it's time to actually build the session with exercises. So if you've chosen push-pull legs, here's a sample of what those sessions could look like. And this is a perfect upper-lower template to start with. On top of that, there are a few rules that apply no matter which structure you pick. Alternates phases of hypertrophy and phases of strength. You can, for example, dedicate a few weeks to hypertrophy, then switch to strength work for a few weeks, and just keep repeating that cycle. For strength, work in a low rep range with a weight or variation hard enough to make those few reps challenging. Rest between sets should be 3 to 5 minutes because the goal is to maintain the explosive quality of every rep. When doing a strength exercise, focus on the speed of execution during the concentric phase. This is what develops real neuromuscular strength. For hypertrophy, the rep range goes up to 8 to 15 reps per set, with a moderate weight or variation that allows you to complete all reps while maintaining good technique. Rest shortens to 60 to 90 seconds between sets to keep the muscle under metabolic tension. Here, the goal is not to be explosive, but to control the movement in both directions. After each mesocycle, include a deload phase lasting about 1 week, during which you perform the same exercises but with fewer sets. Keep your reps far from failure and focus more on movement quality. This way, after the deload week, you return to your hypertrophy or strength phase with a fresh nervous system. Start your session with the most difficult exercises, high intensity and low volume first. Then, as the session goes on, lower the intensity and raise the volume. Never skip the warm-up before training. Your body needs to prepare for the work ahead. If you want, add a cool-down phase at the end as well. It's not mandatory, but it helps reduce muscle stiffness. Change something in your program every 4 to 6 weeks. The human body is a machine that adapts quickly, and if you keep giving it the same stimuli, it simply stops responding. Change the training method, try different exercise variations, or modify the rep range. Part 6. Effective types of training. There are several ways to structure training sessions, and each produces different results. Knowing them allows you to choose the one best suited to the goal you want to reach during that period. The first one is every minute on the minute. It is a training method where you perform a set number of reps at the start of every minute. The workout typically lasts around 30 minutes. The idea is to create a circuit where you choose 2 to 5 exercises and switch exercises every minute with a preset rep count. The time left after completing your reps is your rest time. Here's a sample workout using this method. Run through it at least twice. Grease the groove. This is hands down the most effective method for unlocking a movement you keep struggling with. The idea is to spread mini sets throughout the day without ever approaching muscular failure. It doesn't train the muscles in the traditional sense, but it trains the nervous system, making the motor pattern more efficient. Say your pull-up max is 10 reps. With this method, you do 5 pull-ups in 4 to 8 mini sets spread throughout the day, with at least 30 to 60 minutes between each one. You do this every day for about 4 to 6 weeks. After those weeks, your max could go from 10 to 15 pull-ups almost without noticing. Remember to keep each set at 40 to 60% of your max, and don't apply it to more than 2 exercises at a time. As many reps as possible. This is a high-intensity method where you perform as many reps as possible within a set time. A solid full body circuit might look like this: 4 pull-ups, 6 dips, 10 push-ups, and 15 squats. You start with one exercise and move straight to the next when you finish it, resting briefly only when your technique is about to break down, and you keep going like this for 15 to 20 minutes. It's a great method for metabolic conditioning, burning calories, and training muscular endurance. Avoid using it too frequently without enough recovery, and avoid it if your primary goal is building strength. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, and I'll see you in the next one.